So I've had a couple of changes I wanted to make around my channel over the past couple of weeks, I kind of want to say. The first one being, I've changed what the titles actually are now. They're not Wi-Fi singles anymore, which is why the number reset. You know, I don't have all of these battles on Wi-Fi. I just have a lot of battles, which is why they're just going to be called straight-up battles. Barring the generation they're from, of course. Other thing is I'm going to start listing the tier in the title as well, so for those of you that are like, you know what, I want to go on a Yu kick. At this point, you know, you can go back in time, you can look like, oh, just search Yu on my channel or whatever, you can see what you can find on there. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that retroactively with my channel, because that's a big fucking hassle. But if I could, you know, that would be kind of cool. Going forward, that's what I'm going to do, though. So, other thing is, I've been looking for a different codec for the 3DS capture to record in, ever since Camtasia was just like, we see you doing that with some other recorder other than Camtasia. Stop doing that. Camtasia's screen capturing recorder was really good, and now that they locked it out to be exclusively their app, I've had to find something else. This one's fine. The file sizes it spits out are not that big either. This was only like 500 megabytes, so I mean, I'll take it. You know, it really looks great, and I can get it run 60 frames per second, but that's all back-end stuff, and you guys came here for a battle, so that's why we're here. So, truthfully, we just saw that it's mostly a UU battle, except with the exception of, like, Thunderous T, and I really think that's it, and then there's stuff below that. But, hey, you know, mostly a UU game. We both had Kingdra in mind, and we also had Mega Beedrill in mind, so let's see who's Kingdra and whose Mega Beedrill comes out on top. For those first couple of turns, I did not want to stay in with Kingdra against Tyrantrum, fearing it being a Focus Sash variant, and as much as I wanted to focus energy on the Stealth Rock, or just go for that, and then just go for the Focus Energy on the turn after, once again, fear of Sash, did not want to lose a Kingdra that way, and I'd much rather try to break it with the status condition, which is why I went out to Jellicent, had that whole player, my Jellicent is not physically defensive, or especially defensive, go out into Umbreon, tank it, and then just go for a foul play on the switch to the Tornadus, and look at that, we are all 100% caught up. It was a pretty straightforward series of events. So, right here is where I have options. Right here is where I thought, should I go for Toxic on the predicted switch, or should I just go for a Wish or a foul play right here? And it turns out his Tornadus runs Toxic, so I can't really knock it because I've seen some weird sets this weekend, and I've had a few of them definitely work at me. I'm looking at that freaking Coil Melodic I thought the other day. That was fucking weird, but it got me real good. This one, on the other hand, though, I do have Toxic on the set, so I did want to take care of that, but it turns out he takes care of it for me at the cost of me being Toxic myself. That's fine. He's actually predicting a... I forgot what he was predicting here. I think maybe he thought I was going to go for a double Toxic here or something, but I did go for a Wish on the previous turn, and he goes into his Beedrill right now. I'm not sure if he expected another Toxic, which I guess is fair. But seeing that I did not protect, I definitely would not have risked it, especially because I showed him foul play. And I take out his Beedrill before it's able to Mega, and I get back up to almost full HP, barring the Toxic damage there, which is still a pretty respectable amount, and his Mega did not even get the opportunity to Mega. It just died right off the bat, which is pretty important, because I do not like fighting Mega Beedrill. I don't think I have a lot on this team for it, outside of my own Mega Beedrill, so whoever wins that speed tie, that's going to be pretty nasty. But for every good play, you get a bad play there. I actually end up protecting right there, expecting him to be Choice Scarfed or something of the sort, and, you know, maybe going for a Volt Switch or scouting out to see what move he's going to go for. He goes for a nasty plot right in my face, and I am special defensive, and I definitely do not like taking that T-Bolt. If that was a Life Orb Thunderbolt, I think I would be in a world of hurt right now. But I'm actually able to get off a Toxic on this thing before I end up kicking it, and that's fine by me. The only thing I really have to take this on to an extent is my Rotom Heat, which I'm actually just going to go ahead and trick it a Choice Scarf, and that way I can get it locked in on one move and deal with it accordingly. It is at +2, but I'd much rather deal with a Choice Scarf Thunderous T than a you know, a boosted one, and there is going to be a little, you know, overlay where I deal with both of them at the same time, but he now no longer has the freedom to switch up his moves, and if he was double dancing right there, where he wanted to go for Agility, he would have been locked in on Agility, which would have been fantastic. But it turns out he carries Sludge Bomb, which is, again, another interesting thing. The special attack stat on it is not bad. I would go as far as to say you could probably deal with Fairies in a different way. But it's opened up the situation where I can go into my gel set and I can say, hey, you know what, because Ghost, you know, resists poison and whatnot, I should be able to take these reasonably well, despite the fact that he's +2, and wouldn't you know it, I do. So my only offensive move on this one is Scald, so I'm just going to go for it, and the reasonable play here is to just keep going for Recover until he ends up dying from Toxic, which is actually on the next turn. Recover would put me at full. But unfortunately, since Sludge Bomb does have the same chance to poison as Scald, it's going to be pretty high, and you're going to roll it a lot. So he gives me a last little parting gift in the form of just a regular poison, which it's not toxic poison, so I guess I'm okay with that. And Thunderous Tea goes down. So we got Thunderous Tea down, we got Beedrill down. These are two fairly big powerhouses that I like to see out of the game early on. And now I only really have to deal with some things that would ordinarily just die to, you know, a dragon type thing in general. So my Kingdra is becoming more and more of a team player here, since Crocodile can go down to Kingdra, Kingdra can also go down to Kingdra, Tyrantrum can go down to Kingdra, and then I think he still has his Tornadus left, I'm not mistaken, but Kingdra looking pretty good here. But we're not there yet. So I'm going to go into Heracross right now because I do resist his dual stab. And the best thing he probably could have gone for right there was predicting this thing going for a Stone Edge. And Crunch really doesn't do that much either. This is my Adamant Choice Banded one. And I actually do predict the Tornadus coming in regardless. You know, a Choice Banded knockoff on something would have been great. And turns out it takes it out from there. So that's pretty damn impressive on Heracross's behalf, I am not gonna lie. And it turns out it was a lefty's Tornadus, so big whoop. Now, I, for whatever reason, spaced out on this thing. I was like, what does this thing even do? And then I figured I would just switch out, not really fearing anything, because whatever it does to a Heracross, it's probably not gonna hurt that much on a Kingdra. I was like, maybe Aerial Ace? And I was like, wow, I'm really out of touch with you. But he just goes for Stone Edge, ends up missing it. I'm 100% okay with this given the hacks I had going on in the stream recently. And he goes for another one. Could be a roll on whether or not I could take another one. I think I had a Stealth Rock switch in there somewhere. And it turns out he's Choice Scarf, but he just ends up missing another one as I go for an Ice Beam. I don't think he has any priority left on his team at this point or anything to outspeed this. So I wasn't too concerned with whether or not I was going to be at a low amount of HP because I could still do stuff. The worst thing I have to fear is a speed tie with this thing, and I do end up winning the potential one if he was timid, you know, with the 31, but I honestly did not want to risk Draco missing. I was like that burned with the hack so far that session, so I was like, okay, maybe an Ice Beam will take it out from there. I undershot it by a little bit, and he just ends up dying to the burn that I gave him earlier, so kind of a tit-for-tat kind of thing. I did still notice that I do still have Beedrill in the back, and if I'm going to use it, I might as well use it now, because all he has left is his Tyrantrum, and I'm actually just going to go ahead and show off the Mega real quick and U-turn out of there, let something die, and go back into it, and just go for the drill run to seal off the game. Now, I do want to take the opportunity here to actually talk about the fact that I don't have Protect on this thing. I do like having a lot of coverage on it, but I do feel it does need Protect. So as cool as Drill Run is to have on it, U-turn really is not that bad, and the problem right there is that Tyrantrum is just really nice on the defensive side. So it doesn't seem like it does much, but Mega Beedrill actually does hit pretty damn hard. You just have to build your team appropriately for it, and honestly, with a bunch of slap-together ragtag things like this with no real objective in mind other than to just do their best to win, I'm honestly surprised I got to use Beedrill at all. So with a Mega like that, you should run Protect, but if you find an opportunity like that, where you can just pivot out, since Beedrill does have the U-turn then, it does outspeed it before it Megas, that's fine. You know, it just sucks that I didn't get to use it until like the last couple of turns of the game, so I'll probably put Protect on it after this, but it was fun to just mess with the 4 attacks of Beedrill, even though all I really did use was U-turn and Drill Run. So, anyways, that was the U match. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you're more than welcome to leave a like rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. I've got some other games backed up, which are just in-game fights, so my in-game team versus everybody else's in-game teams. Some people had some really fierce ones, and they actually didn't turn out to be bad games at all. But they're like in-game sets, you know, they're not bred, IVs aren't really bred for in any way or anything like that. There's not really a lot of egg moves. There's some tutor moves, blah, blah, blah. But it's limited to what you can get with your in-game team without rebreeding and re-rolling and all that stuff. So I've got a few of those saved up. If you guys want to see them, let me know. Other than that, I still got my LP going on the side, and things will probably shift into a more regular tempo starting in January since it's the holiday season and whatnot. So with that in mind, I will catch you guys on the next one later.